So I'll go back to the verse, and I think, well, is there an answer in that verse? If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their what? Wicked ways. Well, maybe there's a start. Can we at least agree that there is something called wicked? Can we at least agree that there's something that is bad? Can we at least agree that there is something that is wrong? That's a place to start. If you are in search of a unifying force in our culture, can we at least agree that there is good and bad? Or is everything relative? For 16 years, I never once stood in front of a jury and tried to convince them that murder was wrong. Never once. Oh, we had plenty of trials over whether or not a person did it, whether it was self-defense, whether it was manslaughter, but I never once had to convince a jury that murder was wrong. Why? Because we accept that. I never tried to convince a jury that robbery was wrong, that discrimination was wrong, that mistreating children was wrong. So there is a source of unity. There is a code by which we all have agreed to live. What is the source of that code? Is it science? Is it morality? Is it God? You want to move this country in a different, better direction. What is the source of our unity? And if you are in that group that wants a better future than the present you are experiencing, if you don't like this disunity, if you don't like this sense of angst, if you don't like what seems to be forcing you to be detached and cynical about your country and your government, then you got to do something about it. I'm going to tell you what I would do if I were sitting where you were sitting. You got to figure out what you believe, and more importantly, you got to figure out why you believe it. It is never enough in politics or any other sphere of persuasion to simply tell people what you believe. You have to tell them why you believe it. Do you believe in personal responsibility? Why? It's easy. Because if you're going to be free, there has to be a corresponding responsibility, right? If you're going to have the freedom of the press, there has to be a responsibility to print the truth. If you're going to have the freedom to keep and bear arms, there has to be a corresponding responsibility to use those arms in a responsible way. What do you believe? Do you believe in respect for the rule of law? Why? Because I'm an old prosecutor and I just like getting people in trouble? Because I want to see a bunch of new prisons built? Let me tell you something about the law. It is the most unifying and equalizing force that we have in this country. It is the only thing that makes the richest person in this county drive the same speed limit as the poorest person. It is what makes the richest person in Virginia pay his or her taxes on precisely the same day as the poorest. Do you believe in respect for the rule of law? Can you tell anybody why? Do you think we ought to have a safety net in this country below which the indigent and the needy and the poor do not fall? Why do you believe that? And if you believe that, do you also think a country as good and great as ours can do a little bit better than $800 billion worth of waste, fraud, and abuse? Can you have both of those? So if you don't like the direction of our country or you want a better future, what do you believe and why do you believe it? Secondarily, you can be the smartest person in the world, and if you can't communicate what you believe, you're not going to be very successful. So you do need a message, and that message better be why you believe what you believe, but you also need a very effective manner or method of communication. In other words, you need to learn how to persuade. How do you persuade in life? Facts, authenticity, sincerity, credibility. You want to persuade, change people's minds to come around to your way of thinking on whatever issue it is, and I don't care about your politics. They're none of my business. You can have whatever politics you want. But I will tell you what doesn't work: insulting people. Any of you been married for more than a week? Any of you aspire to be married at any point in life? Let me give you a piece of free advice after 25 years of marriage. Insulting people does not work if your objective is to persuade. I am terrified of my wife, so I have never tried to insult her into changing her mind, but I have seen plenty of my friends try it, and it does not work. Look, I did not vote for President Obama. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him. But you know what? A majority of my fellow citizens did. So when I see a bumper sticker that says, don't blame me, I didn't vote for the idiot, do you think that's persuasive? Do you think anybody that voted for President Obama is going to be persuaded, yeah, maybe I possibly made a mistake because this person called me an idiot? Life doesn't work that way. You know what happens when you're insulted? You become even more dogmatic in holding your incorrect belief than you were before you were insulted. So if your goal is to persuade, you shouldn't be insulting people. Let me tell you what else doesn't work. Hypocrisy. Telling other people how to live their lives, but you live your life a different way. Telling people that they ought to be doing X while you're doing Y. And trust me, I work in a line of work where I see a lot of it. And yes, we're all hypocrites to a certain extent, every one of us. But there are different gradations of hypocrisy. And if you are going to say that the Lord called you to go into politics, you better act like it. And if you're not going to act like it, then leave His name out of it. Furthermore, I want you to ask yourself this: these candidates that are called by God to run for office, are their campaigns any different than the people who weren't called by God? Do they engage in negative campaigning? Do they launch unfair attack ads? Can you tell anything different about them than you can the candidates who just say, I'm running because I felt like running? They claim to serve a God that used a stutterer as a spokesperson. They claim to serve a God that let His own son lose a race to a guy named Barabbas, but they don't act like it. You want to persuade people? Hypocrisy doesn't work. Insults don't work. What does work? A relationship. The person has to know that you care about them. They have to know that you care about them. There are two people in politics that I think do a wonderful job of that, and I don't care whether you support either one of them. One is Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio was raised by a woman that cleaned other people's hotel rooms. But she had hope. She had hope that her son would have a better life, and now he's in the United States Senate. And the other person who does a wonderful job of communicating hope is a guy named Tim Scott, who is my best friend in politics. And Tim Scott's grandfather, who's now 94, would hold the newspaper up every morning at breakfast. Wanted Timmy to see him reading the newspaper because of the value of education, the power of education. Wanted Timmy to be informed. Wanted him to be up on current events. So he held the newspaper up every single morning. except he couldn't read. Can't read to this day. But he wanted to communicate hope to his grandson about the power of education. You want to persuade people? Do you speak in hopeful terms? Do you communicate hope? Are they convinced that you have their best interest at mind? Last fall, my wife made me go to a wedding with her. Let me rephrase that. My wife and I went to a wedding last fall. And I was watching a football game on my iPhone, but it's the only way I agreed to go. Look, if you want me at your wedding, don't plan it in the fall in the South. So I'm watching a football game, and I hear that same verse I hear at every other wedding. These three things remain: faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. We already knew that. I knew that. Comes right before the unity candle. But I started thinking to myself, okay, love wins. I get that. I know that. But hope must be really powerful to even be in the final three. Do you talk in hopeful terms? To the people that you interact with and you're trying to persuade, do you communicate hope? Do they think you care about them? So you got a message. You got a manner of communicating. Now, all you need is a messenger, right? You're just waiting on whoever that is. Whether it's President Obama, whether it's Ronald Reagan, whether it's Abraham Lincoln, we're just waiting around on that great messenger, right? If you were waiting around for another Ronald Reagan or another Martin Luther King Jr. or another Abraham Lincoln, you are going to have a long, miserable wait. It's not going to happen. If you're waiting on a knight or knightess to ride in on a white horse and change whatever you think ails our country, or your school, or your community, or your family, it's not going to happen. You know who the messenger is? It's you. It's not me. I don't know you. I don't know where you come from. I don't know your friends. I don't hang out with you. I'm not going home with you for spring break. I'm not going to work with you this summer. I'm not in class with you. Neither are any of the other people that you may be thinking about that are going to do it. It's you. You're the messenger. You're the leader. I work in a town that is named for Washington. I fly into an airport named for Reagan. I pass monuments to Jefferson and Lincoln and King, and every street is named after somebody famous, and there are statues and portraits in every one of the office buildings. I don't even know. They're so famous, I don't even know them. Lots of famous people. And when you fly in on an airplane into Reagan, pilot usually says you may want to look off to this side to see this monument, or you want to look here and see the Washington Monument or the White House. I don't lean forward for any of that. Not anymore. I've seen it. You know what I think about when I fly into Reagan? I think about a guy you've never heard of. You've never heard of him. I was about your age. I was exactly your age, watching television with my father. February, in the throes of a terribly frigid winter in Washington, and a plane crashes into the 14th Street Bridge. And all the passengers except a half dozen were killed on impact, and those half dozen were in the icy waters of the Potomac River. And I'm watching this on television with my dad. This is before 24-hour news, but it was captivating the country. So you got these people in the icy waters of the Potomac, and you got the whir of a helicopter coming. And that helicopter lowers a rope ladder into the waters of the Potomac, and it falls into the hands of a man you've never heard of before. If I called his name right now, you don't know him. So he has life in his hands, and he passes it to a stranger. And that person is hoisted to safety, and the helicopter takes her away, and it comes back, and the same scene repeats itself 4 more times. And every time, he's got his hands on a rope ladder. He is this close to saving his life. And every single time, he passes it to a stranger. Not his wife, not his daughter, not his best friend, a stranger. And when the helicopter came back for him, he had succumbed to fatigue and drowned. His name was Arlen Williams. I'm not asking you to be Reagan. I'm not asking you to be Lincoln. I'm just asking you to live a quiet life of conviction and virtue and actually live out what you profess to believe. And if you can do that, you'll be a leader, you'll be persuasive, and your generation will get this country headed back in the direction that you want it to be in. Lord, I pray that you will give these young women and men wisdom, courage. There are difficult challenges in life. Help them know what they believe, why they believe it. Help them to communicate in a manner that is reflective of your attributes. And I am reminded that you only described yourself one way. You said that you were low in spirit, humble. I pray that you'll give them the courage to believe that they can be that messenger. In Christ's name, amen.
Do you have a monitor I could look at just for a second? Because these interviews are turning out to be very big. You know, your last. Can you lift it? Can you lift it so I can see it? Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, let me just. Oh, that's good. That's better.
Good, right?
That's better than I actually look. Ooh, they're good. That's better than I look.
I got my special Trump lighting.
I like that. Usually it's worse than I look. That's better than I look. Okay, good.
What? Oh, medic. Oh, go ahead. Take that. That's more important than all of this. Go ahead. A medic. Hopefully they're okay. Are they okay? They're okay? Oh, she just fainted. She's, you know what? That means she was excited. That's okay. Make sure she's good. Those are my best fans. The ones that faint, I love the most. That's fine. Okay, everything good over there? Okay, take your time. Take your time.
Lenders to your company lost over $1 billion and more than 1,100 people.
First of all, these lenders aren't babies. These are total killers. These are not the nice, sweet little people that you think, okay? You know, I mean, you're living in a world of the make-believe, Chris. You want to know the truth.
Here, and why don't you apologize for her?
No, I won't
right
do that
now.
because I said nothing wrong, but I do hear she's a lovely woman.
Absolutely. So that's just so you understand. You know what that is? That's Jeb's special interest in lobbyists talking. We've spent, I only tell the truth, lobbyists. We've spent $5 trillion all over the middle. We have to rebuild our country. We have to rebuild our infrastructure. You listen to that, you're going to be there for another 15 years.
All right, Governor Bush.
They lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
Up and I saw my mom. My mom is the strongest woman I know.
She should be running.
Not about.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't get nervous. Go ahead.
He was a failed candidate. He should have beaten President Obama very easy. He failed miserably, and it was an embarrassment to everybody, including the Republican Party. We need toughness. Honestly, I think Jeb is a very nice person. He's a very nice person, but we need tough people. We need toughness. We need intelligence, and we need tough. Am I allowed to finish?
Go ahead, Mr. Trump.
So,
Little of your own
again,
medicine there.
I know you're trying to build
Bush,
up your energy,
please,
Jeff, but it's not working
one at
very
a time.
well.
Yeah.
Look. You don't have one Republican senator, and you work with them every day of your life, although you skipped a lot of time. These are minor details. But you don't have one Republican senator backing you, not one. You don't have the endorsement of one Republican senator, and you work with these people.
Senator Cruz.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Here's a man, Robin Hood. This is Robin Hood over here. He talks about corruption on his financial disclosure form. He didn't even put that he's borrowed money from Citibank and from Goldman Sachs, which is a total violation. He didn't talk about the fact that he pays almost no interest. He just left it off, and now he's going to protect the people from the big bad banks.
We're going to move.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
Why do you keep attacking Megyn Kelly of Fox?
Because every night on her show, she does negative hits on me. Every single night. And frankly, if she didn't, her ratings would drop down far lower than yours.
Snoop Dogg.
505 billion. And by the way, I don't like this mic. Whoever the hell brought this mic system, don't be the son of a bitch to put it in, I'll tell you. These people. No, this mic is terrible. One of the worst Secretary of States in the history of the country. She talks about me being dangerous. She's killed hundreds of thousands of people with her stupidity. Just thirdly, he was so nice. He was such a nice guy. And he said, oh, I'm never going to attack. But then his poll numbers tanked. That's why he's on the end. And he got nasty. Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.
All right. You call him a dummy. Is that appropriate in running for president?
Okay, you got to let me speak, though, Frank, because you interrupt all the time, okay? So...
This is a tough business to run for
president.
president.
I know, you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real
principled.
tough. And he lunged that knife into the stomach of his friends, but lo and behold, it hit the belt. It hit the belt, and the knife broke. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. And we don't need a weak person being president of the United States, okay? Because that's what we'd get if it were Jeff. I'll tell you what, we don't need that. We don't need that. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to... Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's a pussy. That's terrible. Terrible.
A year ago, you told me on my radio show, the audio and the transcript are out there on YouTube, that you would release your tax returns.
True.
Are you going back on your
No, I'm not.
commitment?
First of all, very few people listen to your radio show. That's the good news. Let me just tell you. Which happens to be true. Check out the ratings. Here's a guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have. This guy in fairness, Marco is not a negotiator. I watched him melt down, and I'll tell you, it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. He's not going down.
On that, that's a matter of principle,
and
I'll tell you.
You are the single biggest liar. You probably are worse than Jeb Bush. You are the single biggest liar.
All right.
This guy lied. Let me just tell you. This guy lied about Ben Carson when he took votes away from Ben Carson in Iowa. This guy will say anything. Nasty guy. Now I know why he doesn't have one endorsement from any of his colleagues.
All right, John, I get to respond.
Pick from the buffet there.
He's a nasty guy.
Immigration. You have been very critical of Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, who has wanted to increase the number of these H-1Bs.
I was not at all critical of him.
Where did I read this and come up with this that you were...
Probably, I don't know, you people write this stuff. I don't know.
By the way, Carson is super low. I don't understand the whole deal. I don't know what's going on. Carson is lower energy than Bush.
I look at Rubio. He's a lightweight. He's a lightweight. Everyone said, oh, Rubio, he's the next Reagan. He's no Reagan. That I can tell you. I mean, my hair is better than his hair. That I can tell you. And ISIS has it. And ISIS now is building a hotel in Iraq. They're competing with me. Do you believe it?
You keep saying that Hispanics love you.
True.
And yes, you won the Hispanic vote in Nevada.
True.
But wouldn't that make you an unelectable candidate in a general election?
First of all, I don't believe anything Telemundo says.
You used to say that you love.
Number one. Number two.
Oh, if you become president, will a woman make the same as a man?
You're going to make the same if you do as good a job.
Problem was, it was to tear down. It was to
Jeb
tear
wants
down.
to be. He wants to be a tough guy. He wants to be a tough guy
It was
tonight.
to tear down.
Take 30 seconds. Let me just. He wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times, you'll have, and it doesn't work very well with.
How tough is it to take
times,
property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough is it?
A lot of times. That's all of his donors and special interests out there. Because he has failed in this campaign. It's been a total disaster. Nobody cares. And frankly, I'm the most solid person up here.
Why didn't you read that? By the way, why didn't you read that before?
I pulled it up the Wi-Fi.
No, but why didn't you read that before? You didn't read. I hate the concept of.
I'm reading it to you. My question
Excuse me.
Are you a trustworthy?
Excuse me. Very trustworthy. More so than you. Why didn't you read my quote the way I said it?
Sir, I tried to pull it up and I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Well, then you got to get Wi-Fi, okay?
Well,
don't ask me questions like that. You're not a very good reporter doing that. Okay, go ahead.
I think Ben Carson's a very low energy person. Actually, I think Ben Carson is lower energy than Jeb, if you want to know the truth.
We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. You know what's happening to Jeb's crowd, as you know, right down the street? They're sleeping. They're sleeping now. Jeb Bush is a low energy person. For him to get things done is hard. Nobody. You might say, you might talk, your politicians all talk, no action. I've been watching it all my life. You are all talk and no action. What I've seen up here, I mean, first of all, this guy's a choke artist and this guy's a liar. You have a combination.
This guy always goes.
You have a poor Jeb Bush. I mean, this poor guy with this low energy. It's sad. No, it's sad. I came up with that term. It became so defining. It's like having it on his forehead. I am low. Jeb Bush. Yeah, Jeb. He's another beauty. Jeb Bush the other day said, Donald Trump, you know, he's trying to talk tough now because I said he's got no energy. I called him a low energy person, so now he wants to be a tough guy. It doesn't work, but I'm the tough guy.
He says you don't have steady hands.
I have the steadiest hands. Look at those hands. Look at those hands. Look at those hands. I have the steadiest hands and far steadier than hers. Look where
Why do you keep attacking Megyn Kelly of Fox?
Because every night on her show, she does negative hits on me. Every single night. And frankly, if she didn't, her ratings would drop down far lower than yours. Former president Calderon said, Mexico will not pay for the wall. Could we have your comment? I said, yes. The wall just got 10 feet higher. It's true. It's true.
On the stage,
I was a businessman. I got along with Clinton. I got along with everybody.
Yeah.
That was my job, to get along with people.
But the
I
simple
didn't want
fact
to,
is...
Excuse me. 1 second.
No.
I didn't want to...
The simple fact is, Donald, you cannot take...
More energy tonight. I like that.
I think you're on the wrong side of this if you're still arguing for a single payer system.
I don't think you heard me. You're having a hard time tonight.
All right,
We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. Jeb Bush. Get out of here. Get out. Out, out, out. That was the meekest protester that I've ever seen. We said, get out of here, and he just, okay. And I gave him a lot of money. I raised a lot of money. I had 2 fundraisers in my apartment. In fact, one of them was such a rainy day that it ruined the carpets of my apartment. Everyone's coming in. I had hundreds of people. My carpets were ruined. I think I'm going to send him a bill for new carpet. President Obama, Secretary Kerry, I highly think you should read this book quickly. Quickly! Mexico is sending lots of people. And by the way, they're coming from all over the world, including the Middle East.
Why not? Come on in. We're stupid, we'll take care of you. We'll pay. Get sick, we'll take care of your hospitalization. What kind of a plan do you want?
Let's say that Jeb Bush or Hillary or one of these politicians, all talk, no action, all controlled by lobbyists and special interests and donors.
When they say, Mr. President, it's very bad that Ford's building in Mexico. Oh, okay. We'll do something. Let me go to sleep first. We'll do something.
I want to.
Jeb will be very poor as a president. No energy.
Class act. Class act. No more class than that, that's for sure. How's that sandwich? You get that in Ohio? Yeah, all right.
And you know, the Kasich thing is interesting, because here's a guy that just says, I'm going to stay. And then you see him eating in the morning. You ever see? I have never seen. He's stuffing pancakes in his mouth like this. And I'm always telling my boy, take small bites, Barrett, little tiny bites. And yesterday he said, Daddy, who's that guy on television? That's disgusting.
You know, did you see him? He has a news conference all the time when he's eating. I have never seen a human being eat in such a disgusting fashion. I'm always telling my young son, Barron, I'm saying, and I always with my kids, all of them, I'd say, children, small little bites, small. This guy takes a pancake and he's shoving it in his mouth. It's disgusting. Do you want that for your president? I don't think so. Ever see it? He's eating today, stuffing it. I never saw bites this big. He's pushing it in with his, I never saw a guy eat like this. I told my son, he was watching, he said, Daddy, look. I said, don't watch. Little bites, little bites. Lion tag. One of the biggest liars I've ever seen in my life. But Ted Cruz, he walks in Bible high, puts it down, and he starts lying. I'll tell you what.
Every single ad is a negative ad, and most of them are false. There was a little truth to some of them, I'll be honest.
Bad senator. She's done nothing. She said she's American. And I said, Pocahontas. It's Pocahontas. Somebody said to me on the media, Mr. Trump, would you apologize? I said, yes, I'll apologize. To Pocahontas, I will apologize. Because Pocahontas is insulted by the state.
Do you regret calling her Pocahontas? Do you regret that?
I do regret calling her Pocahontas because I think it's a tremendous insult to Pocahontas.
That's right.
So to Pocahontas, I would like to apologize to you.
All right, so I don't see a lot of reaching across the aisle, but who knows?
I was being hit by Pocahontas. That's Pocahontas. Pocahontas. That's this Elizabeth Warren. I call her Goofy. She is... No, Goofy.
Warren, she seems to have made it her job.
Who, Pocahontas? Pocahontas, well, no, she's... Look, she is...
It's very offensive.
You tell me. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Pocahontas?
What about the negative side? He apologized for being a negative.
We're different people. I understand that. I'll give you an example. Hillary Clinton is a liar. Hillary Clinton, I was just proven last week.
That's
Hillary
negative.
Clinton, you better believe it. Hillary Clinton is a crook.
That's negative.
I call her Crooked Hillary. She's Crooked Hillary. He won't. I didn't ask him to do it, but I don't think he should do it because it's different for him.
Is it wise to be praising our adversaries and alienating our allies?
George, yeah, I know you're having a lot of fun this morning, and so am I, if you want to know the truth. The fact, those people don't turn them in. Why don't they turn them in?
Well, they should turn them in. I agree with you on that.
Well, they should turn them in, but they're not going to turn them in with attitudes like your attitude. People won't turn them in.
So Lindsey Graham says to me, please, whatever you can do. You know what I'm saying to myself, what's this guy, a beggar? He's like begging me to help him with Fox and Friends. So I say, okay, and I'll mention your name. He said, could you mention my name? I said, yes, I'll mention. And he gave me his number, and I found the card. I wrote the number down. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202-228-0292. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, it's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number. 202-228-0292. So, I don't know. Give it a shot.
Donald Trump is a jerk.
Thank you.
I feel better now.
Look, his people gave him that quote. You could see he was just saying, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready now to say it. Jeb is a weak and ineffective person. He's also a low-energy person, which I've said before, but he's a weak and ineffective person. Jeb, if he were president, it would just be more of the same. It would be just, he's got money from all of the lobbyists and all of the special interests that run him like a puppet. He's got 2% in the polls. I have 41% in the latest poll. He has 2%. He's going to be off the stage soon. He's an embarrassment to the Bush family. And, in fact, he doesn't even want to use the Bush name, which is interesting. Jeb is an embarrassment to himself and to his family.
I know Hillary met my campaign manager, and I got the chance to meet the people who are working so hard to get her elected. There they are, the heads of NBC, CNN, CBS, ABC. There's the New York Times right over there, and the Washington Post. They're working overtime. Hillary is so corrupt. She got kicked off the Watergate Commission. How corrupt do you have to be to get kicked off the Watergate Commission? Pretty corrupt. We've learned so much from WikiLeaks. For example, Hillary believes that it's vital to deceive the people by having one public policy and a totally different policy in private. That's okay. I don't know who they're angry at, Hillary, you're right. For example, here she is tonight in public, pretending not to hate Catholics.
Look, now she's blaming, she got caught in a total lie. Her papers went out to all her friends at the banks, Goldman Sachs and everybody else, and she said things, WikiLeaks, that just came out, and she lied. Now she's blaming the lie on the late, great Abraham Lincoln. That's one that I haven't. Okay, Honest Abe. Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you. That's a big, big difference. We're talking about some difference.
Perfectly nice. By the way, she fell off the stage the other day. Did anybody see that? And Cruz didn't do anything. No, it was even I would have helped her, okay? No, it's true. It's the weirdest thing.
How do you see that?
Well, she has been taking a lot of heat for that statement, not from you, obviously, but, you know, they do call it the Clinton Network. But she has taken from others a lot of heat.
Little Marco. Do you know that in Florida, they hate little Marco Rubio so much? Still.
You know, he endorsed Lion Ted Cruz. Lion Ted. He's a liar. Ooh. Bible high, puts it down, and then he lies, you know. He's a liar. I never met a liar like him. I met a lot tougher people than him, but I never met a guy that lied as much.
My message to Donald Trump and his team is your views of Islam are ignorant.
All right. Well, when he won, I wished him well. Now, I don't care about him. I mean, it doesn't make any difference to me about him. Let's see how he does. I mean, let's see if he's a good mayor.
Are you offended by what he said?
Yeah, I am, because he doesn't know me, never met me, doesn't know what I'm all about. I think they're very rude statements, and frankly, tell him I will remember those statements. They're very nasty statements.
Would you like David
When
Cameron,
it was brought up,
would you
no.
like him to withdraw the particular comments that you're stupid, divisive, and wrong with your view about Muslims?
Well, number one, I'm not stupid, okay? I can tell you that right now. Just the opposite. Number two, in terms of divisive, I don't think I'm a divisive person. I'm a unifier. Unlike our president now, I'm a unifier.
I love the media. They're so honest. They're such honorable people. It's about time I said that, right? Backed Mitt Romney. I backed him. You can see how loyal he is. He was begging for my endorsement. I could have said, Mitt, drop to your knees. He would have dropped to his knees. He was begging. Oh,
here's another one. Go home to mom. Go home to mommy. And your mother is voting for Trump. She's voting for Trump. True. Oh, we have another one over here, another single. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Looks like a nice little guy, actually. Go home to mommy. Go home. Bye. Go home to mommy. Go home to mommy. Tell her to tuck you in bed. He's such a nice guy.
Here's a woman. She makes a speech for 15 minutes. She goes home, goes to bed. Honestly, she has less energy than Jeb Bush. I mean it. I mean it. And the reason I bring him up, he did.
Одной из интриг прошедшего саммита стало ваши возможные переговоры с господином Трампом. Насколько я понимаю, вам все-таки удалось поговорить, что называется, на ногах. Расскажите, пожалуйста, о чем, и, на ваш взгляд, почему все-таки не удалось организовать такую полноценную встречу, полноформатные переговоры? Спасибо.
Ну, что касается встречи отдельной, во-первых, это связано было с графиком работы господина Трампа и с моим графиком, и с определенными формальностями протокола, с которыми нашим командам справиться, к сожалению, не удалось. Но будут наказаны за это. Вместе с тем ничего страшного не произошло. Мы поговорили в ходе сегодняшнего заседания, пообщались. И в общем и целом все, что хотели, мы обсудили. В основном-то говорили о чем? Говорили о том, что обсуждалось на самом саммите АТЭС. Говорили о том, как использовать вот те новые возможности, которые предоставляет цифровая экономика для развития экономических связей. Ну и вы знаете, мы еще согласовали совместное заявление по борьбе с терроризмом в Сирии. Вот в этом смысле, имея в виду вот и первое, и второе, можно сказать, что работа на полях АТЭС была полезной и успешной, потому что не так просто было выйти на заявление по Сирии. Наши эксперты работали над этим заявлением в преддверии саммита. И уже вчера началась доработка этого документа. министр иностранных дел, господин Тиллерсон и господин Лавров работали над теми вопросами, которые возникли уже после того, как этот текст был предложен экспертами. И сегодня, вот только что, мы с президентом Соединенных Штатов этот документ согласовали. И считаю его важным, потому что он подчеркивает некоторые абсолютно принципиальные вещи. Во-первых, продолжение борьбы с терроризмом. Это чрезвычайно важно и для Соединенных Штатов, особенно в свете последних трагических событий, которые там произошли, связанные с террористическими вылазками. Это важно для нас, для страны, которая давно сталкивается с этой проблемой. И это важно для всего международного сообщества. Борьба с терроризмом будет продолжена, причем совместными усилиями. Что касается Сирии, чрезвычайно важным считаю, что мы подтвердили территориальную целостность и суверенитет страны. Мы договорились о том, что будем после завершения борьбы с террором, после ликвидации террористической угрозы на этой территории двигаться по пути политического урегулирования под эгидой Организации Объединенных Наций. Ну, а детали этого заявления вы можете посмотреть, оно, по-моему, уже опубликовано.
Now, where President Putin has given a media conference at the APEC summit in Vietnam. Let's listen to what was said.
To ensure the comfortable operation and work, very good atmosphere, no doubt. Second thing is that the very topic of our meeting is very, very important. Well, here we have mostly, Russian journalists, and back in Russia we pay very much attention to digital economy in various aspects of it. Vietnam raised this very question, and that's very topical, very up-to-date, because we need to unite our efforts in, defining it, in looking for ways to solve the problems. It's difficult to do that on one's own, because if we speak about the small, medium-sized enterprises, we need to understand how to integrate it into the overall economic system, economic mechanism. We do to find out what we need to do. We have some concrete proposals, we've laid them down, and also have to find the necessary definitions for digital economy, digital trade, and so on and so forth. The things look simple, but in fact we need to consider that very thoroughly. We also should understand the consequences for the societies. Some say that the new technologies, the digital economy, can be dangerous because too many jobs are going to be cut off. Others say we can, re-engage the personnel, the employees. We need to work with the labor unions. We need to work with the World Labor Organization and other organizations. That all was discussed during the summit. Also, we touched other matters, fight against terrorism, for instance, the situation in the energy market, because during the business lunch we've just been discussing that topic. Also, we spoke about the future of APEC, because the trade increased by several folds during the work, the existence of this organization, and that is an achievement. We spoke about the need to further liberate the markets, to build new kinds of relations within the, unified trade area, because some say that it's a bit too early, premature to talk about that, because the levels of economic growth is different, but still, Ms. Lagarde set forth a very interesting proposal on the further steps to be taken in the sphere of global economy. As we know, the forecasts are very good, but risks are there. We should be well aware of them. And the risks are that the developed economies see the downturn in the income increase, and that's where the buying capability of people are not rising. We need to be careful about the fiscal and credit policies. Economies should be reformed structurally. We discussed all that. All that is interesting, important, and very much up to date. These discussions are very much up to date. We have the general understanding of where we should be heading, and that's important. Please. Известия. One of the intrigues were your, well, probable meeting with Mr. Trump. As I understand, you had a, well, standing conversation, as some say it. Well, can you tell us what was the topic and why there was a failure to organize the full format meeting? Well, as for that meeting, well, first, we should understand that we had very tight schedules. We both had very tight schedules, and also there were certain formalities about the protocol, and our teams failed to, well, to find out a way out of that dialogue of formalities. Well, we lectured a bit about the right ways to overcome these difficulties, but we still had a conversation with others, and we, I think, discussed all we needed to discuss. Mainly, we talked about the topics discussed at the very summit itself. We talked about how we can, well, harvest the potential of the digital economies for further development of economic ties. Also, we adopted a joint statement on the fight against terrorism in Syria. That's important, and in that sense, I mean, the first and the second thing I mentioned, the work on the sidelines of AIPAC was very fruitful and, well, generally successful, because it's not easy to adopt a joint statement on Syria. Our experts have been working on that statement in the run-up to the summit itself, and already yesterday we were finalizing the document, and the Foreign Minister and the State Secretary, they've been working on all the issues which appeared after the text was proposed by the experts, and just now we've adopted that document with the President of the United States. That's a very, well, crucial document because it sets forth some principal things. First, we continue the fight against terrorism. That is of utmost importance for the United States and for us, especially in the light of the recent tragic events which happened there, which have to do with the terrorist acts, recent terrorist acts. That's important for us, as I said, as we've been confronting that evil for quite a time. And it's important for the whole international community because the fight against terrorism will be continued. We'll join our effort, we'll continue to apply joint efforts. So it's of utmost important that we reaffirm the sovereignty of the country and its territorial integrity. We agreed that after the fight will be over, the terrorist evil will be eradicated. We will start the political efforts under the auspices of the United Nations. And the details, well, you can find these details. I think that the statement is already, well, published. Good day. The Kommersant newspaper. Mr. Putin, the USS, the so-called anti-Russian investigations, which are being more and more prominent in the United States, because, well, some ministers of the United States are being, well, accused of having ties with Russia or anything, and if some of the Trump's team members were also in contact with Russian authorities. Well, that's the first thing. Second thing is, when finally we are tired of waiting, just when will you tell us that thing? Well, as for the second part of your question, I will leave it without answer. The time will come, we'll talk about that one day. As for the first part, well, I said many times that all that has to do with so-called Russian dossier is just the sign of the inner domestic struggle in the United States. These things you mentioned, well, I'm aware of them, but I don't know that any of my relatives, as they say, have any connections with the members of the administration or with some officials. I got to know about that yesterday from Mr. Peskov. I don't know anything about that. Absolutely nothing. It's just bullocks, I think. As for the Minister of Trade, if I'm not mistaken, right? Minister of Trade of the United States, well, he used to be a businessman. The shipping company, I believe he was one of the owners of it, and it was a global company, so he signed contracts with entities across the world, maybe with Russian companies too. That's a business. It has nothing to do with politics. I don't even remember his name. I just heard it a couple of days ago. So there is nothing to investigate. But if they want, well, they can do what they want, looking for some sensation. But there are no sensations in here. As for Mr. Manafort, well, he's being, well, associated with Russia by some. But his only association is that when he was, well, I may be wrong, but maybe he was head of a PR agency. He signed a contract as a businessman. We've been working with Ukraine, with the former president of Ukraine, Mr. Yanukovych, his name is. So I don't understand how that can be related to Russia, because there is nothing to do with Russia. It's just empty, idle talk, and sheer desire to have at least something to battle the current president. It's their business, not ours. The RIA Novosti Agency, you have regular meetings with the General Secretary of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, but that meeting was special, I think, because it took place right after the session of the Communist Party of China. It was a very long meeting, as I know, and you talked, well, behind closed doors, if I'm not mistaken. What did you discuss? Did you discuss North Korea and, well, are the positions closed or not? What should we expect? It's a very topical issue. Well, out of China, we've been meeting on a regular basis because we have very good relations. We discuss many topics. That's our biggest trade economic partner, more than $60 billion of trade. That's after the decrease. And we will get the level we want if we maintain the current growth levels. And in the upcoming years, we expect to reach the level of $100 billion. We have many projects in the field of energy, hydrocarbons. I'm not going to list all the projects, just a waste of time. You'll know about them. We have very good prospects for working together on space programs, deep space travels, the planes. We've created the design company, and we already agreed on a name for the new make of plane. So, very good prospects in helicopter construction manufacturing. We're going to create a heavy cargo helicopter. As for foreign politics, foreign affairs, well, as diplomats say, our positions are very close or coincide on some matters. On many critical issues, we have similar views, and one of the issues is North Korea. Our views completely coincide when it comes to that problem, because that is a problem. We do not accept the nuclear status of that country. We urge everyone to lower the temperature, the degree of confrontation. We should find the strength, all sides should find the strength to sit at the table for negotiation. There is no other way to do it. We together put forth a roadmap with a number of steps to be taken. We'll first decrease the rhetoric, break down the rhetoric, then stop any aggressive steps, and then sit at the table for negotiations. But as you heard, recently we've been hearing some very promising signs. We see that in Japan, in the US, South Korea, which makes us understand that there is no alternative to the peaceful path. That's good, and we hope that it will be staying forever, that very approach. And yes, we had a closed meeting. During that meeting, well, I've been briefed by General Secretary about the plans of China for the future, midterm development, for instance. And that was important because, well, just I've started talking about that. and I'll continue now, because China is our biggest partner, trade and economic partner. It's important for us to understand what kind of, well, development they want. And soon they will be the first economy, first global economy, because they have 6 and something % of growth annually. That's just inevitable. They will be the biggest economy. And we should understand how we will be adjusting our work and trade with China, taking into account the plans we have for development of the Eurasian Economic Community and coupling our plans with the Chinese plans for the Silk Road and the strategy for development of, well, relations with our neighbors. And please. Dmitry Smirnov, Komsomolskaya Pravda newspaper. Well, at summits like this, talks at the sidelines sometimes are as important as any other official session. Can you, well, elaborate on your talks outside of the schedule? Donald Trump is famous for his, well, pulling the hand, but you're, well, you're quite experienced in martial arts, so did you try to do something like that? I don't know about his habits, we are hardly familiar with each other, but I should say that he is very, very professional, very friendly. He behaves appropriately, and we have just a normal dialogue. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to get down to some more details, because we have many matters to discuss. Security, for instance, economic relations, which is almost on the ice. We had 28, now we have $20 billion. That's nothing. For such countries as Russia and the United States, that's nothing. So certainly we should find a way to talk, and our teams should find a way to arrange that meeting for us. And again, he's a very competent person. It's very comfortable to communicate with him and work with him. As for the talks on the sidelines, well, you know about the meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan and the Philippines and the General Secretary of China and the Vietnamese President. Well, we've met with them and we talked about some issues, certainly. There is something special about each meeting, that's true. I mean, we have different levels of cooperation, political ties and economic ties, security cooperation, trade, military cooperation, lots of issues, difficult to talk about everything. So I think that will be important, all these meetings will be important to push forward our cooperation and our interaction with them. Good day. First channel, let's go back to Syria, if I may, to know about your assessment of what happens today in Syria. Because that's not the turning point, it's something else. So what are the prospects? What's happening today in Syria? Well, it's evident today that the military operations, military efforts to eradicate the terrorist hotbed is about to finish. The recent event in the southern eastern part of it, that was the last stronghold of ISIS, as you know. It was eliminated, that hotbed. That is the city on the border between Syria and Iraq. So now we are to clear the eastern part of the country, to the east of Euphrates. It's important to finalize that and to reinforce the arrangements on the de-escalation zones, to reinforce the ceasefire once and for all, creating the environment for the start of the political talks, political process. That is why today we have that statement made by the Russian Federation of the United States that would be, I think, crucial to facilitate the settlement the Syrian problem. Good day, Maria Starsina, RT Spanish. Well, Ministry of Justice forces our country to sign ourselves as foreign agents. Twitter banned our ads, even though we have all the legitimate reasons to put our ads. So what's your assessment of that kind of pressure? And are there any reciprocal measures discussed? It might be funny, but it's too sad to be funny, because those who do that in the United States, they've been saying proudly that they are Democrats, the first of their kind, and the freedom of speech for them was of utmost importance. They've been saying that they are champions of the freedom of speech, and without freedom of speech there is no democracy. But that kind of assault on our mass media in the United States, that's an assault on the freedom of speech itself, without no doubt. We are, well, we regret that. That's certainly bad. But what has been discussed in the State Duma, in the Parliament, it's a bit too much, perhaps, because it's a bit harsh and serious, but sometimes we hear very, critical and very, very harsh measures being discussed, but we need to put forward an answer. That answer would be, well, appropriate, to be, well, measurable to the one we've received. But I should say that our mass media never interfered in any elections or anything. The last investigation in the Congress or Senate, I don't remember, showed that the ads share was less than 1%. And the influence on the viewers was again less than 1%. 100 ads or something like that, as I remember, and other mass media, US media, they have millions of ads placed. So it's incomparable. It's just a very dangerous development. They say that our mass media interfered, but it is not so. Mass media, they just express their point of view, they give information, they give opinions. You can argue about that, but you should not be closing or banning or creating the condition which prevents some mass media from working at all. You should produce your point, you should make your case. But no, they decided to ban and to impose sanctions. Our answer, our response will be just, well, measurable, comparable to that. The Doge channel, Wall Street Journal wrote that the United States are going to, Russia planned to deploy some peacekeeping force, like 20,000 of them, in the area of Donbas, Ukraine. I don't know about that. I haven't heard of it. Why they wanted to suggest that to the Russian leadership. So what would be your reaction? What would be your reaction to that kind of, well, offered suggestion? I've never heard about that, so I can't comment on that. That's impossible. How could I comment on that? When we hear some well-formulated sentences, because, you could say one thing, but when you put it on paper, it looks absolutely different. How can you comment on something which is not yet existent? How can I do that? There's no such thing. If we hear some proposals like that, well, we will consider them. CNN. Well, you say that you're dissatisfied with the fact that you haven't met with Mr. Trump, but how can that show the kind of relations Russia and the US have? It just shows that our relations are still in crisis. Been saying that we are ready to turn that page over and go forward, look into the future, solving the problems which are common to both countries. We need to fill in with some real content our relations and ties. look at the recent, well, at the last economic forum in St. Petersburg. U.S. companies were the biggest group of companies. They want to work in Russia and with Russia. So ExxonMobil was prohibited to work in the Arctic region. Well, this way, they just refused a very prosperous, very potential project that could be giving them very good income, tax income and jobs, everything. That's only one example. And speaking about some limitations in the financing area, well, lots of other examples. But if you don't want to work, there will be others. Your competitors will come and take your place. But we want to have very harmonic relations with the United States in the field of economy, finance, and security too. Because we have a Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty signed, and I should say that when it was signed, I wasn't a president. So Trump wasn't part of the negotiations too. But that treaty is here. There are matters which need to be discussed. Small and medium-range missiles, another thing. We're being reproached by some of the partners from the United States that we are violating the treaty. Well, if you want to accuse us of that, then show where. But in Romania, you have the launching pads and systems which can be used not only for anti-missile system, but for the Trident missiles. And this is medium-range missile. They just can be transported there from the sea, and they can be used from these launching pads, launching systems. So that should be discussed. There are other things to discuss too. The fight against terrorism, for instance. We succeed to arrange something, to agree on something like the Syria statement. It's good, but it's not enough. Yes, you, please. The Japanese news agency. Well, I would like to know about yesterday's meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan. You said that the victory, the elections will make it possible to implement all the plans. What do you mean, all the plans? We know about the Prime Minister's plan to sign the peace treaty, for instance. Do you agree that that matter is just is a part of your, joint plan? Also, the talks about how to implement that. These talks will take several years. Does that mean that you will be staying at that, position of president for some more years to come? Well, you say we have plans, we have announced these plans in the area of economy. Some plans, being suggested by Mr. Abe a couple of months ago. He formulated his, proposals. He also appointed a special minister to work on these issues. That's one thing. The second thing, let's say, part of that matter is the security measures, security matters. We've just talked about the problem of North Korea. We discussed that. So both matters were discussed with Prime Minister of Japan. We also talked about the peace treaty. These things, they comprise our plan for cooperation. There are other issues, I should say, issues surrounding the peace treaty. It's no secret that here we need to be careful to look what kind of obligation Japan has in terms of their work with their partners, let's say, the field of security, and how that can influence the things. What kind of obligations the Japanese side has to their partners, as I said, and what things they can do independently and what things they cannot do independently, because if you have some obligations, you need to comply with them. But that can influence our relations and our peace talks. That's a very laborious work, and maybe really it's going to take not 1 year or 2, but there are things which can be settled today. Prime Minister said that it's possible to arrange the travel of Japanese citizens to the Coral Islands so that they can visit the graves of their fathers and forefathers. He asked us to alleviate the visa regime for these travelers, and we're doing that. Then he asked to make it possible for these Japanese citizens to go not only to the locations which have been already visited by them, but some other close parts of the islands. We've done that too. A group of businessmen from Japan can come to the islands to talk about the joint projects. We also arranged that. These kind of meetings were arranged and were carried out successfully. It is going to be very good, I think. It does not depend on who is in power, Mr. Arbor, Mr. Putin, it doesn't matter. Our countries should be determined, our people should be determined to have a long-lasting solution for all problems, to create a favorable environment for the development of our relations, not in the short term or mid-term, but in the long run. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. I need to work, to continue my work.
Nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death.
The source of all our mistakes is fear. Out of fear, great nations have been acting like cornered beasts, thinking only of survival.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
For most Americans, 9/11 was a terrible tragedy. For George Bush and Dick Cheney, it was that plus more. A chance to implement the agenda that their neoconservative allies had been working up for decades. The project for the New American Century's recent report, called Rebuilding America's Defenses, had said the process of transformation is likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalyzing event, like a new Pearl Harbor. Al-Qaeda, in their mind, had given us Pearl Harbor. And within minutes of the attack, the Bush team leapt into action. With Bush in Florida, Vice President Cheney and his legal counsel, David Addington, took charge, arguing that the president, as a wartime commander-in-chief, could act virtually unfettered by legal constraints. On September 12th, already looking past Al-Qaeda's Osama bin Laden group in Afghanistan, Bush, back in Washington, instructed counterterrorism chief Richard Clarke,
see if Saddam did this. See if he's linked in any way.
It was Iraq, Saddam, find out, get back to me.
And the reaction you got that day from the defense secretary, Donald Rumsfeld, from his assistant, Paul Wolfowitz?
Well, Donald Rumsfeld said, when we talked about bombing the al-Qaeda infrastructure in Afghanistan, he said there were no good targets in Afghanistan. Let's bomb Iraq. And we said, but Iraq had nothing to do with this. And that didn't seem to make much difference.
Donald Rumsfeld had already, on September 11, ordered strike plans for Iraq. Go massive, he said. Sweep it all up, things related and not. Within a matter of days, Bush announced before a joint session of Congress that the United States was embarking on a global war.
From this day forward, any nation that continues to harbor or support terrorism will be regarded by the United States as a hostile regime.
At home, 1,200 men were quickly arrested and detained.
All right, so check it out, guys. It's Trevor James. We just got into Shashi, deep in Yunnan province, and today we're going for a full-on market tour. This is one of the last remaining T-Horse Road farmers markets, full of Bai and Yi people and local foods. I'm so pumped. Let's go check it out. As you make your way into Yunnan province on the T-Horse Road, you encounter some incredibly beautiful scenery and some food that will blow you away. We came here to Shashi to find the last remaining intact T-Horse Road farmers market and found some amazing street food joints you're not going to want to miss, starting out bright and early at the once per week market every Friday morning. We found 5 delicious street foods and 1 amazing Bai-style local lunch feast you're gonna love, including a do-it-yourself custom sticky rice noodle, some fried chickpea starch jelly, and a lot more. Let's eat. 你好，这个是什么东西？
是薯饼。
哦，是哦，现在可以吃吗？
现在可以吃。
是什么？是牛奶做的吗？
是。
牛奶做的。
牛奶做的。
牛奶做的。哦，这个多少钱？
这个15块。
15块。
买一个吗？
我买一个。Awesome. This is like a. It's like a. 这个是牛奶，都是牛奶吗？还有什么香料里面？
没有。
都是牛奶吗？
不是牛奶。
本地人怎么吃的？
现在也可以吃。
你怎么吃的？
回去买油炸。
哦，吃跟油炸。
油炸。
一起吃的。
这样吃。
Oh, look at that! It's like a big. I think it's like a big curdled milk ball.
回去切开放进白砂糖。
啊，放一点糖嘛。啊，谢谢你。It's like a big. I think it's like a big. Curdled milk ball. Oh, look at that. Wow. All right. All right. 我尝一尝。
尝一下，好吃。
嗯。Oh! Wow! This is actually almost exactly like a mild mozzarella cheese. It has almost no flavor. It's not sour. It just tastes like you're biting into a milk almost. That's really nice. Next up, we took a quick little walk through the morning market and found a breakfast stall serving a variety of different soups and rice with side dishes known as Gai Fan. This was an amazing market to visit. Oh, What do we have here? Ni hao. 你有什么汤？这个是汤吗？
是炒这是豆子。
豆子哦 ，broad bean soup
最好吃了。
哦，好吃的嘛？哦，
这些猪肉。
猪肉，还有萝卜嘛？
萝卜。
哇，太棒了！还有这个是？
这是海带。
海带嘛？哦，太棒了！你自己吃什么早餐？这个是你的吗？
这是我的。
这个好吃的吗？
好吃。
好吃的吗？我可以来一份吗？
可以。
好，我做一下。Awesome. 太棒了 Look at this, guys. Looks like we have some nangua pumpkin with pork and fennel greens. 哇，太棒了 Oh, that's a fresh one. 这个是牛肉吗？
不是。
猪肉。猪肉，还有 looks like there's some fresh chilies, green onions. Chili oil, lots of chili in there. And then there's also some eggplant, chili eggplant. Lots of veg here. This is a healthy breakfast. That just looks so healthy. Big broad beans, nice chunks of radish, huge fatty spare ribs. Oh, beautiful. I grabbed some stir-fried pork. Lots of green onions, lots of fresh chilies. Yeah, that looks so fantastic. There's actually a bit of a sour, spicy kick to that. A bit of pickled greens, and that pork is juicy. Look at those big broad beans, guys. Those are big and plump, nice clear broth. Let's get a big bite of those. Oh, that is. Those broad beans are so nutritious. They put fatty pork chunks in there along with the broad beans. So you do have a really nice and deep, complex pork broth. After that nice breakfast, we had a quick little walk around town before making our way to find a ton of pre-lunch street food. This is honestly the coolest old little town. Look at all these classic T-Horse Road style buildings. They're all preserved really well. They're all made of wood, and there's just so much to explore here. We're only here for half a day. You could literally spend a week exploring this whole countryside, eating delicious food, and chatting with nice people. This is absolutely stunning. You can just picture the history here. Horses, tea, lots of people selling food, produce. This is full. This is saturated with history, guys. Beautiful. Looks like you found some custom noodle. 这个都可以自己选。你自己喜欢吃什么？
我自己给你煮了，然后我就不给你放了，你就自己喜欢什么就放什么。
好。
喜欢辣的话放一点，不喜欢辣的话就。
我喜欢辣。这个是24吗
？24，对，新鲜的。
Okay, we're gonna get some fresh sticky rice noodles, and then you can choose whatever you want here. There is so much stuff here. 这个是花生吗？
花生，对。
花生、芝麻、鸡精、辣椒、小米辣。这个是
那个是洋葱丁那些酸葱那些拌在一起的调料。
太棒了！花椒、蒜、黄豆、
对，
酱油、腌菜、辣椒酱。
对。
红油辣椒, and then there's also some green onions, cilantro, and vinegar. It's all here, and you can choose whatever you want with these sticky rice noodles. 太棒了. Some fresh pea shoots, pea greens. 太棒了. What's beautiful about this is you can just choose whatever you want. All of these ingredients you can put into your bowl of sticky rice noodles. So it's a nice light broth, sticky rice noodle. They're like falling apart. And then some wando jian. 这个是猪肉炸酱吗？
对，要不要来点？
可以，可以。
哎，
Wow,
太好。
look at this, guys. So we have a beautiful bowl of ours sticky rice noodles, specialty in Yunnan, with some wando jian, pea shoots, pea greens, and then we can choose anything we want here. That is incredible. Okay, first up, most important, we're gonna hit chili oil. Beautiful. Just pour a little bit of that. Oh, get a little more oil. Get a little more oil in there. Oh yeah, look at that. Then we're gonna get a little bit of vinegar and soy sauce mix with ginger and garlic and chili. That is gonna be powerful. Oh yeah. Little bit of peanut. Awesome. 这个要核桃吗？
对，有核桃花生。
核桃花生 Awesome.
这种绿豆。
绿豆 Oh, one. 豆放. That is beautiful. I've never seen this make your own noodles in China before. You can just put whatever you want. Put some soybeans, some garlic. Oh yeah, that's gonna start the day. And some huajiaoyou, just to make it have a touch of numb. To top it off, give it a little bit of numbing, mouth-numbing kick. And of course, wow. Of course, onion and cilantro mix. Beautiful, that is heaven. Oh. And we're gonna put a little pickled radish just to finish the deal. Awesome. 谢谢你。看一下你们的饼，你们还有饼对吗？
有，对。
这个是什么饼？
这个是豆沙。
豆沙，哦，太棒了！我来一个豆沙嘛。还有这个是什么？
玫瑰汤。
玫瑰汤啊，我吃豆沙，还有一个玫瑰。
还有一个玫瑰。
对，谢谢你。We have some special bing here. We have mei gui, which is rose filling in a little pastry cake. And then we have dosha, which is red bean, and a yue bing. This one, there's thousands of different types. This one, she said, has mint, brown sugar, sesame. But we're gonna go right in for these beautiful custom noodles. Oh, look at those. Mix that up. Wow, that flavor is just gonna be, oh, look at all that chili oil. Look at all that chili paste. Peanuts, oh, I can smell the peanuts. I can smell the walnut. Oh, my mouth is watering here. This is just awesome. There's greens, there's chili, there's vinegar, there's soy sauce. Awesome. That actually looks super thick. Beautiful, dripping, sticky rice noodles. Mmm. Oh. Wow. There is a lot going on in there. Oh, it's sour from the vinegar. It's super garlicky. I put a ton of garlic in there. The sticky rice noodles are very chewy. They're actually very chewy. That is just a powerful bomb. The pork sauce, the pork mixed ground pork gravy also packs a huge, enjoyable fragrance with the cilantro, the onion, the peanut. Oh, it's all in there, guys. After enjoying the beautiful rose and walnut stuffed pastries and the red bean pastries as well, we continued through the market and found a couple more delicious street foods before going for a huge Bai-style lunch feast packed with fresh Yunnan mushrooms. So we just found a bunch of huajuan. There's tons of different flavors here. There's dofuru, fermented tofu with chili. There's fentiao rice noodles with pork. There's green onion and pork. There's regular mantou, and it's all here. I think I'm gonna order one up. I think I'm gonna go for the dofuru fermented tofu flavor. 我可以吃一个dofuru吗？
还要吃这个？
一个dofuru可以吗？
可以。
太棒了 ，nice， 谢谢你。
谢谢。
Oh, fresh huajuan. Oh, it's steaming hot. We just got a steaming hot huajuan. This is like a steamed flour puff filled with fermented, wow, look at that. Filled with fermented tofu chili sauce. Oh, you can really smell that stenchy, potent fermented tofu flavor. And we are deep in the market here. This is just amazing. Oh. Oh wow. Wow, that is definitely super fluffy, super salty, fermented, almost cheesy. Wow, it almost has a strong, salty cheese flavor. Oh, that'll wake you right up. That is a potent quadrant. Right before our lunch feast, there was one more super interesting street food that you're gonna wanna try the minute you see it. Colorful starch jelly and fried red heart potato. So she said this is a red heart potato and this is a liangfen, some type of starch jelly that she's frying here. So unique. Oh, beautiful. 这个是沙溪的特色嘛？啊，哦，辣椒可以。哇，哦，辣椒 she's making it into like a salad. Beautiful. 这个是什么？那个是什么？花生酱。Oh, peanut butter in there. 那个看起来太好吃了。哇！谢谢你，太棒了。这个多少钱？5块钱。5块。哦，10块给你。这个是凉粉。这个是什么粉？鸡豆凉粉。鸡豆凉粉。Oh, so it's a type of starch jelly. So it's like a green starch jelly that she's frying here, and there is some red-hearted potatoes. That's the direct translation. Mmm. 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 这个太好吃了。嗯，那个花生酱。那个花生酱。帮我们介绍一下。好。Wow. That is amazing. That is so delicious. It tastes like a spicy peanut butter, except it's not sweet at all. It's like a spicy peanut butter over a starch jelly. The starch jelly almost has no flavor. It's just maybe slightly earthy. I want to try one of these red-hearted potatoes. I think that's what she's cutting right here. Oh, Hongxing Turoma. That is beautiful. Look at that. Look at the purple color there. And then she fries it and it gets all brown and crispy. Awesome. Mmm. Oh wow. It tastes exactly like a potato with a crispy outside and a spicy peanut butter outside. This cottage cheese matzo cheese ball that we had this morning, we're actually gonna try it different now. She's offered to fry it. 煎一下这个好一点嘛。She's saying it's much better than eating it plain. You take this matzo ball. I'm not sure if that's actually what it is, but that's exactly what it tastes like. And you fry it. 煎一下。这个是牛奶。牛奶做的。That is just beautiful. Look at that. And she's frying it up in slices. And that oil actually has a bit of flavor. Wow. Wow, yeah, look at that. I'm gonna mix it up myself. 可以吗? Oh yeah, I'm gonna mix it in there myself. Oh, fry it up. I think she's gonna put that same flavor on. Oh wow. That milk is getting a crispy edge to it. It's like a cottage cheese mozzarella. You can really smell that milky, cheesy odor. Oh. Oh, 明白了，山上的牛。山上的那些草。每一种草都要知道吗？是用做这个吗？用来做这个，浇到牛奶里面。牛奶一起的。对。哦。明白了. Oh, and she's put it right on top of the starch jelly, you see. This is the starch jelly that you can eat fried. She's putting tang right on top. Oh yeah, by white sugar. Nice. That's beautiful. Oh, that's a lot of sugar. Wow. That's a lot of sugar. Oh, 已经够了。
好，要放多一点。
放多一点嘛。
对。
好。
这个的话要少一点。
哦，明白了。We just got that fried matzo cheese. It's like a milky matzo cheese, and she just loaded it with white sugar. Tons of white sugar crystals on there, and you can smell that milky odor. Let's try it out. Mmm. Oh, wow. When it's fried with the white sugar on it, you get that crispy outer layer, and you get that ultra sweet, ultra abundant sugar on there that really brings it up a sweetness level. After all that beautiful fried goodness, we made our way into a little courtyard restaurant to try out the true fresh flavors of Yunnan, and had a beautiful meal packed with fresh veg and mushrooms and meat. It doesn't get any better. This is just such an awesome market, guys. So much action, so much stuff going on, produce, meat, snacks to try, and now we're gonna make our way for a big lunch. Let's check it out. All right, we're going in. We're going into a little courtyard restaurant. Let's see what we can get to eat. 可以吃午饭吗？可以。可以吃午饭吗？可以。可以，太棒了。Wow, look at this, guys. Awesome. Look at this. There is salted fatty pork. This is a specialty in Yunnan, salted pork, and we're gonna order that up, and then look at all the ingredients here you can choose from. Tons of different fresh produce and veg, all from Yunnan, all locally grown here. Mushrooms, look at all the mushrooms here. Tons of different fresh Yunnan mushrooms. But look over here, I just spotted this one. This is the specialty in Yunnan, the songrong. These are very expensive, and we're just at the tail end of the season right now, so we're gonna have to order that up and get a bunch of food. 太好了，我们可以坐一下吗？好，谢谢你。太好了。Beautiful. Look at this massive Yunnan feast we've got here, guys. There's so many specialties here. Look at this. This is what I've been wanting to try for so long. This is the songrong mushroom, the matsutake mushroom grown here in Yunnan, and it is right at the end of the season. This is a matsutake spare rib soup. That looks absolutely nutritious and hearty. And then look over here, we have a specialty Yunnan salted pork. You can see it hanging up over there. It's fried in fresh bell peppers and a type of garlic bolts. Oh, that just looks fantastic. And then look over here. These are red pine mushrooms fried in green onions and bell peppers. Red pine mushrooms. There's a bit of dried chilies in there as well. And then over here, we have some greens and a specialty lemongrass fried spare ribs. That just looks incredible. And then this over here is called xiaomi cai. I didn't know what that was, but look at all that purple juice that comes out when it's cooked. Looked it up, and it's called amanthus. Oh yeah. We're just gonna try out the soup first thing, because that just looks so delicious. And this is the #1 thing. These mushrooms are exported across Asia and are very expensive. Wow, 这个很好吃的。Oh wow. Such a flavorful mushroom. The umami flavor in that broth is incredible. Wow. Oh, it brings it so much flavor. We are gonna try some of this Yunnan salted pork hanging up over there. Let's try some of that. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. It's fried in bell peppers and garlic bolts, and oh, looks amazing. That has the most rich ham flavor. You can tell the salt brine they use is rich and strong. It actually almost has like a pastrami flavor. It is so strong. With those bell peppers, those garlic bolts, that is the most intense, strong ham you'll ever have. This is why Yunnan is one of the best places to eat in China. Food's so fresh, you'll never want to leave. People so friendly and warm, and some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. just coming to a morning market like this and you can discover it all.
Thank you so much for watching these T-Horse Road street food videos. We had a great time here in Shashi. It is absolutely beautiful. Awesome day trip from Dali and awesome market every Friday. I would love to know what you thought about this video in the comments down below. And please click that little notification button and subscribe button so you can get all of these street food tours. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're up here doing an emergency broadcast on this Saturday afternoon because a lot of big breaking things have now come out. Look right here, CNN. Podesta group on the verge of shutting amid ties to Mueller probe. Well, no, they actually, in the article, say that on Friday they called them all in and said, be gone by Wednesday. We're closed on Wednesday. So the headline should be, Podesta group closes and tells employees to get their stuff out by Wednesday, the 15th. That's what it says in the article. Get your stuff out by Wednesday. So the Podesta group has closed. Not on the verge of closing. That's how CNN spins it. The most powerful lobbying group in D.C. that sold us out to Russia, sold us out to China. I mean, they'd sell the kitchen sink out. And that's why they were so scared and were saying that Trump and myself and Tucker Carlson and Senator Rand Paul were all Russian agents with no proof, because they knew that once Trump got in, they'd be in a lot of trouble for what they'd done, because Trump fired all the lobbyists out of his administration. He got rid of everybody that was in D.C. that was a lobbyist. And that's one reason K Street is so pissed off, because he's not selling us out to special interests. So that article about them closing is key. But also, Chris Hayes comes out and says, hey, Bill Clinton's a bad guy. He is an abuser of women. We need to have a reckoning with the Clintons. Now, you have Donna Brazile coming out saying, investigate the death of Seth Rich as a political murder and that she fears for her life, basically pointing at the Clintons, saying they stole the election from Bernie Sanders, which we know is true. Sure, she's covering her ass because she knows the word is there's sealed indictments on Tony Podesta and also on some other people very close to him, because they've done on record, without denying it, what they claim that Paul Manafort has done, and they worked with Paul Manafort over a decade ago. And in this witch hunt, you know, this got them going after General Flynn for working with Turkey and stuff. I thought it was Russia we were looking at. They're going after everybody, and it's netting their own people. So they've announced they're closing the Podesta group on Wednesday, told them to have their stuff out by next Wednesday. You've got the entire Democratic Party and all these pundits on ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN turning against the Clintons en masse. It is a big deal. And as the rats leave the sinking ship, more and more is going to be coming out now, ladies and gentlemen, about who paid for the fake dossier. We know it was Hillary. It's already come out. About how they were in bed with the Russians, the Chinese, and countless other nations selling out our sovereignty, in bed with criminal elements of Saudi Arabia who've now been arrested. And as Trump rolls up these criminal networks, more and more of the information is about to come to light. And Tony Podesta was in the 2007 Washington Post talking about his dangerous art that he watches in his basement, and showing people art on the walls of naked children. So again, ladies and gentlemen, that's where the other rumors of stuff got sparked, was from that. That's what caused larger investigations, was people started looking into just all the incredible things. But separately from Weiner and Jerry Epstein and the pedophilia and all the firestorm in Hollywood and Kevin Spacey and now reports of Charlie Sheen, the list goes on and on. America and the world is waking up to corruption and waking up to evil. And it's happening not just here, but in Europe and many other nations. People are getting out of globalism, and they're getting out of worshiping elitism.
Yeah. Hey.